The night over Earth was calm, quiet, and peaceful. Cities glowed like small stars, oceans lay dark and still, and the world moved in its normal rhythm. No one knew that this night would be remembered forever. No one knew that something was coming. Far above the clouds, on the edge of space, a lonely satellite rotated slowly. It had worked for 16 long years, sending small data packets back to Earth. But tonight, it caught something different, something it had never seen before. A sharp pulse. Then another. Then a long, slow tone, rising like a scream stretched across the sky. In the Space Defense Center, Dr. Mira Hale stared at the screen. She was calm by nature, careful with every decision. But this time, her heartbeat jumped. The tone was not human. It was not natural. It was not noise. It was a warning. "Run the signal again," she ordered, her voice low. The system replayed the sound. A simple tone. No words. No meaning on the surface. But still, it felt heavy, almost angry. Her assistant frowned. "Is it a message?" "No," Mira whispered. "It's a mark." The room fell silent. Everyone understood. In space, hunters did not send warnings. They sent tags. A simple sound that told others, "We found something. It is ours." Somebody, or something, had just marked Earth. Suddenly, one of the big screens flashed red. "What's happening?" Mira asked. "Satellite 7, offline." Then another alarm. "Satellite 12, offline." Then another, and another, and another. One by one, the satellites around Earth went dark in perfect order, almost like fingers pressing buttons on a control board. Myra's eyes widened. "This is coordinated. Someone is shutting down our eyes." The technicians tried to contact ground bases, but most channels were blocked. Only static replied. The air grew thicker, colder. Then a sound came through the speakers. Soft at first, then growing. Not a signal this time. Not a tone. It was movement. Metal scraping. Something enormous drifting past the dark side of the moon. "Put it on screen," Mira said. Static. Glitch. Then, for half a second, the image cleared. A shadow. A long, curved shape, like a giant creature made of bone and steel. It moved without lights, without heat, without noise. Only its shape gave it away, slipping across the moon like a ghost. The picture cut out. The room went silent. One soldier whispered, "Is that a ship?" Mira did not answer. She wasn't sure. It did not look like any ship she had seen in human records. It looked older, colder, alive. Before she could speak, all the screens in the room flickered. Lines formed. Symbols printed themselves. They were not letters. They were not numbers. They were marks, like hunting runes carved onto prey. One symbol repeated in the center. Large. Bold. Final. Mira translated it the only way she could. Target found. She stepped back. They think we are prey. Behind the moon, something shifted again. Another shadow. Then another. A fleet. Maybe more. Earth was surrounded. But the world below did not know yet. People slept in their homes. Children watched cartoons. Cars moved through ordinary streets. Life was normal. And above them something watched. Something patient. Something cold. Something that had hunted before. Mira turned toward her team. Evacuate all non-essential staff. Lock down the center. Activate the Ghost Strike protocol. Everyone froze. Ghost Strike was not a defense plan. It was not even a weapon. It was humanity's most secret project, built only for the worst day in human history. A day just like this. Her assistant looked at her, eyes wide. "You really think we need it?" Mira nodded. "They did not send a warning. They sent a claim. And I will not let Earth be claimed." The alarms grew louder. Red lights flashed across the halls. Doors sealed shut. Power rerouted underground. The world outside still slept, unaware that their sky was no longer theirs. Mira stood before the main window, staring up at the stars. She felt something she had never felt before. Not fear, but anger. A sharp, growing fire inside her chest. "If they believe we will bow, if they think we will beg," she said softly, "they are wrong." Her words hung in the air, heavy and unbroken. Then the night sky lit up. A long streak of light peeled across Earth's atmosphere, like a falling star, but slower, controlled, deliberate. It cut across the sky with silent purpose. The hunters had arrived. Mira clenched her jaw. "Prepare defense units. They want to hunt." Her eyes hardened. They are about to learn what humans truly are. The screen faded to black, and the hook ended. The first hunter ship entered Earth's orbit without a single sound. Cameras across the world caught nothing. Radar systems saw nothing. It was as if the ship was made of darkness itself, sliding through the shadows like a silent predator. On the ground, people looked up at the sky and saw only clouds. But above those clouds, something was watching them. Deep inside the Space Defense Center, Dr. Mira Hale stood over a screen filled with frozen images, the half-second glimpse they had captured earlier of the strange bone-like ship. She zoomed in again, trying to find a symbol, a pattern, anything human could understand. There was nothing. Only ridges like ribs, smooth curves like claws, and openings that looked almost like mouths. "These things were not built for transport," Mira said quietly. "They were built for hunting." Her team exchanged nervous looks. A new alarm rang. "Unknown object entering the upper atmosphere," a technician shouted. Mira leaned closer. "Can you track it?" "No, but we can feel the pressure change. It's like it's bending the air around itself." Something was coming down. Not landing. Descending. Searching. Above Earth. The hunters. Inside the cloaked ship, a tall figure moved with slow, calculated steps. Its skin was dark and rough, its eyes covered by a pale mask shaped like a skull. This was Commander Rin, leader of the hunt. He looked at the screens around him. The humans were unaware, slow, distracted. Their cities glowed with soft light, their people walked peacefully, and their machines felt weak. Rin made a low sound of amusement. "They do not know we are here," he said in his deep, cold voice. "They do not sense the hunt." A smaller hunter approached him. "Shall we begin the sweep, Commander?" Rin nodded. "Send the drones. Mark their behavior. Study their movement. Learn their weaknesses." He paused, his voice lowering. "And if any human sees you, remove them." The hunter drones, small, spider-like machines, moved out of the ship and vanished into the dark skies. They were cloaked, silent, and deadly. In a quiet town, a street light flickered. A dog barked at nothing, its ears standing straight. A cold wind passed through the empty street. A cloaked drone crawled along the side of a building, its legs tapping lightly on glass windows. It scanned the area, watching humans through invisible lenses. Children laughed inside a house, playing a video game. A mother washed dishes. A man checked his phone. The drone stored every detail. Primitive, it whispered in its mechanical language. Slow. Soft. But then it noticed something strange. A small human girl stood at the window, staring directly at it. The drone froze. She shouldn't be able to see it. But she pointed. "Mom, something is outside." The drone instantly activated its erase protocol. No witnesses allowed. A sharp needle extended from its body. Before it could strike, something unexpected happened. The house lights flickered. A sensor on the wall activated. A security floodlight snapped on. The light hit the drone. It sparked, the cloak shimmered, and for 1 second, it became visible. The girl screamed. The drone panicked and shot upward into the sky, fleeing before it was caught. It reported back to the ship. Humans detect movement faster than expected. Commander Rin frowned. Interesting. Mira listened as emergency calls came in from different towns. A shadow on a roof. A strange flicker. A creature seen for only a moment. "Something is scanning our towns," Mira said. "Testing us." She opened a restricted file. Inside it was the plan she had hoped she'd never use. Project Ghost Strike. Ghost Strike was not a weapon. It was a trap. A way to turn Earth into dangerous ground. A way to make the hunters feel hunted. Mira looked at her team. Activate Ghost Strike Phase 1. Turn every abandoned facility, every empty base, every unused bunker into decoys. Her assistant blinked. You want to lead them into them? Yes, she replied. If they want to study us, they will study a cage. 2 hunter scouts descended into an old human research station in the mountains. It looked abandoned, broken, useless. Exactly how Mira wanted it. They entered the dark hallway, their steps echoing. They scanned the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Empty. Quiet. But something felt wrong. A low scratch mark ran across the far wall. Another mark on the floor. The metal looked torn, by claws. Rin's voice came through their comms. Explain the damage. The scouts answered. Unknown. Not human-made. Then they reached a steel door. It was bent outward, as if something strong had forced its way out. Inside the room was an empty cage. Chains lay broken. The walls had deep claw marks. Something wild had been kept here, and it had escaped. The scouts stepped back, uneasy. Rin growled through the comms. This is no research station. This is a message. Mira watched the drone footage returning to the hunters. She smiled for the first time. They think humans are weak. They think we are prey. Let them believe it for now. She turned toward the window where the night sky glowed faintly. But soon they will see who the real hunters are. The suspense grew. Earth waited. The hunt had begun. The morning light touched the edge of Earth, but nothing about the new day felt normal. Clouds drifted quietly, cities woke up, and people stepped out of their homes unaware that invisible eyes watched them from above. High in orbit, Commander Rin stood inside his cloaked ship, studying the reports from his scouts. He expected fear. He expected chaos. Instead, he saw something else. Humans were not running. Humans were not screaming. Humans were preparing. Rin narrowed his eyes. Why do they organize so fast? One of his officers replied, Their system should be collapsing, but instead they are strengthening. Rin felt a chill he had not felt in years. This species is hiding something. Deep inside the Space Defense Center, Dr. Mira Hale stood before a large holographic map showing every hunter drone detected so far. Little red dots blinked across the map like drops of blood. They have entered every continent, Mira said. They are not exploring. They are measuring us. Her team watched silently. If we wait, she continued, they will strike first. And they will strike hard. A military commander stepped forward. Do we strike now? Mira took a breath. Not yet. We make them think we are confused. Slow. Weak. The commander frowned. Why? Because hunters lower their guard when they believe the prey is helpless. Far from the cities, floating above the empty ocean, stood an Earth defense station. It was small, unimportant, and lightly armed. Exactly the kind of place the hunters liked to test. A silent shadow descended toward the station. A hunter ship. Long smooth. Sharp like a blade. It approached without sound. Inside the station, 2 guards played cards, bored and half asleep. The radar screens showed nothing. The ocean was calm. Then the lights flickered. A guard looked up. You see that? Before the second guard could reply, the entire room shook. A loud metal scream echoed through the walls as something massive struck the outer hull. Alarms exploded. Lights turned red. The station groaned like it was dying. What was that? One guard shouted. No answer. They ran to the main window and froze. A creature of metal and bone pressed against the glass, its long mask-like face tilted as if studying them. Its eyes glowed a faint, cold blue. The glass cracked, then shattered. The hunters entered. But something happened that Rin did not expect. The 2 guards fought. Not with weapons. Not with training. With instinct. They grabbed tools, pipes, anything they could reach. They attacked with raw fury, hitting, kicking, screaming like cornered animals. The hunters stepped back, surprised by the sudden violence. One guard swung a metal bar with all his strength, smashing it into a hunter's mask. Cracks formed. Sparks burst. The creature stumbled. Rin watched through the drone feed. These humans, he murmured, They react without fear? Another hunter moved in, killing the guards quickly, but the message was clear. Humans did not freeze. Humans did not kneel. Humans fought. Rin felt something he hated. Curiosity mixed with irritation. This will not happen again, he growled. Prepare a larger strike. She stepped closer to the map. We strike only when they think we cannot. The defense center received the station's final heartbeat signal. Mira stood still as she listened to the last seconds of the recording. The screaming, the metal tearing, the growling voices. Her hands tightened. They are testing our strength, she said. That means they still doubt. Her assistant looked confused. Doubt what? That we are dangerous. She tapped a command into the screen. A file appeared. Operation Graveyard. The commander beside her stepped back. You plan to send them into the asteroid field? Yes, Mira answered. That field is filled with broken satellites, old ship pieces, and thousands of sharp rocks. But our ships can barely fly through it, the commander warned. That's why we won't fly through it, Mira said. They will. She leaned forward, her voice harder now. We will lure them inside and close the trap. Earth launched a fake message into space, crying for help, begging, pretending to be terrified. Weak prey calling for rescue, Mira said. She knew the hunters monitored every signal. She knew they expected fear. Far above Earth, Rin heard the message. He smiled. Finally, he said. They break. He ordered 3 hunter ships to move toward the source of the signal. Exactly as Mira expected. The asteroid field known as the Graveyard circled just beyond the moon. Sharp rocks floated everywhere, mixed with broken metal from old human missions. It was the perfect place for a trap. The hunter ships entered confidently, their cloaks shimmering. This area is unstable, one hunter officer warned. Rin laughed. Human trash cannot harm us. But he was wrong. The asteroids began to move. Not naturally. Not randomly. They moved with purpose. Hidden inside the field were human drones. Small, fast machines designed by Ghost Strike. They pushed the asteroids gently, shifting them into deadly paths. The hunters realized too late. A massive rock slammed into the first hunter ship. Another scraped off the second ship's cloak, exposing it. Then the hidden railguns activated, firing metal spikes that pierced the exposed armor. The hunters panicked. Rin watched, stunned. How did humans set this trap so fast? He received the answer a second later. A message appeared on his screen, coming directly from Earth. Myra's voice. Cold. Sharp. You should not have come. The ambush had begun. The graveyard was silent. Thousands of broken satellites drifted like frozen ghosts. Old metal plates spun slowly between razor-sharp asteroids. Every piece of debris told a story of forgotten missions and quiet failures. No human ship had entered this field in years. But now 3 hunter ships cut through the darkness, their bone-like hulls glowing faintly as they pushed deeper into the maze. Commander Rin watched from the lead ship, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the field. This place, he muttered. What purpose does it serve? His officer replied, It looks like a place humans abandoned long ago. Rin tilted his head, studying the floating wreckage. Or they left it, for a reason. Still, he was confident. His ships were strong, fast, and armed with advanced tracking systems. Nothing in this field could harm them. Or so he believed. Inside the Space Defense Center, Dr. Mira Hale leaned over the large screen showing the hunter ships in the graveyard. Dozens of human drones were hidden among the debris, their engines silent, waiting for her signal. Hold position, Mira ordered. Her team watched the hunters move deeper into the deadly field. If they detect our drones, the plan fails, her assistant whispered. They won't, Mira said. They think we are panicking. They think we are weak. That is our shield. She raised her hand slowly. On my mark. The hunters continued forward. Their scanners could not detect human machines because Mira had coated the drones with old satellite metal, making them look like broken junk. One hunter officer studied the debris. Strange. There are patterns here. What patterns? Rin asked. The asteroids. They are shifting. Rin frowned. They do not shift on their own. The moment he said it, a large shadow moved above them. A mountain-sized asteroid drifted sideways, more than it should, almost as if someone pushed it. Rin's grip tightened. Raise shields. Mira exhaled. Mark. Every hidden drone in the graveyard came alive at once. Power surged through their engines. They pushed the asteroids with small controlled blasts. The field moved like a living creature. Asteroids rolled. Broken metal spun. Sharp debris changed direction. The trap closed. The first asteroid crashed into the side of a hunter ship. Boom! The impact shook the entire field. The bone armor cracked like dry wood. Inside, hunters stumbled. "What is happening?" one shouted. Rin glared at the screen. "This is not natural. Someone is controlling the debris." Another asteroid cut across the second hunter ship, scraping away its cloak. The shimmering veil shattered like glass, exposing the long, sharp body underneath. Then the graveyard came alive. Hidden railguns, camouflaged as broken satellite arms, unfolded. They locked onto the uncloaked ship. Mira whispered, "Fire!" A wave of metal spikes launched through the field. Thunk, thunk, thunk. The exposed hunter ship took the hits directly. Spikes tore through the armor, piercing pipes, wires, and bone-like plating. The ship shook violently. Rin roared, "Evasive maneuvers!" But there was no space to escape. The graveyard was too tight, too crowded, too dangerous. The hunters were trapped. Rin slammed his fist onto the control table. "Activate cutters!" Sharp energy blades extended from his ship, slicing through debris. Massive chunks of metal split apart, scattering into smaller threats. The second ship managed to blast through a path, but every blast moved the debris faster, more unpredictably. For every rock they destroyed, 2 more drifted into their path. Rin shouted, "Who controls this field? Show yourself!" As if answering him, a message lit up across his screen. Just a simple voice. Myra's voice. "Come. Cold. Deadly. You entered the wrong place." Rin snarled. "Human woman. You dare challenge a hunter fleet?" Her voice replied, unshaken. "You thought we were weak. You were wrong." A massive asteroid slammed into the wounded ship again. With its cloak gone and armor cracked, it could not survive another hit. The asteroid crushed its hull, splitting it in half. A blinding explosion burst through the field, sending waves of light through the darkness. The ship died in silence. Only 2 remained. Rin watched the destruction with burning anger. These creatures, they set a trap. They planned it. He clenched his jaw. And we walked right into it. Mira wasn't finished. Release the Ghost Strike swarm. Another 100 drones streaked forward, small but fast, weaving between asteroids like insects. They latched onto the remaining hunter ships, drilling through weak points. Rin felt the hits. "Remove them!" His ship shook violently as explosions popped along its side. The final hunter ship tried to escape, pushing toward open space. But the path was blocked by a spinning wall of debris. They had nowhere to run. For the first time in years, Rin felt fear. Real fear. Not because of the trap. Not because of the loss. But because of the mind behind it. A human mind. This species learns fast. Too fast. "These humans," Rin whispered. "They fight like cornered beasts." He now understood the danger. Not their weapons. Not their numbers. But their instinct. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were furious when threatened. Humans did not break. They adapted. He had hunted many worlds before, but never one like Earth. With 2 ships destroyed and the field closing around them, the last hunter ship fired its engines at full power. They did not win. They escaped. Barely. Rin stared at the burning remains of his fleet. "This was not prey," he muttered. "This was a warning." Back on Earth, Mira watched the last hunter ship flee. "Good," she said softly. "Let them run." Her eyes hardened. Because now they know the truth. The screen faded. Humans are not easy prey. Humans hunt back. The graveyard battle echoed across space like a silent scream. 2 hunter ships were gone. Crushed, torn, broken. The last surviving ship limped away, flames drifting behind it. Inside that damaged ship, Commander Rin stood alone beside the shattered viewing screen. Sparks fell around him. Metal panels hung loose. Smoke filled the air. But Rin did not care about the damage. He cared about the truth. Humans had done something no prey had ever done. They fought back. They planned. They trapped. They killed. His crew watched him carefully, afraid to speak. The silence inside the ship felt heavier than the graveyard itself. Finally, Rin broke it. "Bring me the full record of this species," he ordered. The officer obeyed instantly. A dark screen lit up, showing a long list of symbols, records of every world the hunters had conquered. Rin scrolled down the list. 42 planets. 42 civilizations. All destroyed by the hunters. He opened the first file. A peaceful race of water dwellers. They surrendered instantly. Crushed. He opened another file. A desert species with strong bodies but slow minds. Hunted. Another species. And another. And another. All terrified. All confused. None had fought with strategy. Rin closed the files and stared at the blank screen. "This world is different," he muttered. "These humans, they are not prey." His officer hesitated. "Commander, should we call for reinforcements?" Rin's mask-like face turned slightly. "No. Reinforcements will only die. I must understand them first." He touched the screen again. "Bring me the human behavior scans." In the Space Defense Center, Dr. Mira Hale stood in front of a wall of glowing maps. New red dots appeared every minute. More hunter drones entering abandoned places, watching, learning. "They're studying us harder now," her assistant said. "They're searching for our weakness," Mira replied. "And do we have one?" the assistant whispered. Mira didn't answer at first. She looked out the large window at the world below. People walking, traffic moving, lights flickering across cities. "Yes," she finally said. "Our weakness is simple. If they strike open cities, many innocent lives will fall." Her assistant looked at her with fear. "Then what do we do?" Mira turned back to the maps, her eyes sharp. "We stay one step ahead. Before they plan their next move, we learn who they really are." A military team delivered a damaged hunter drone rescued from the graveyard. Mira entered the lab wearing gloves and a cold expression. The drone looked like a metallic spider, its legs broken, its cloak shattered. Still, something inside it pulsed like a dying heartbeat. "Power level?" Mira asked. "Low." "It won't attack," the engineer replied. Mira placed a small interface needle into the drone's cracked shell. The screen lit up. Symbols. Coordinates. Reports. Maps of dozens of planets. "What is this?" her assistant asked. Mira zoomed in. A list of worlds. 42 names. All marked with the same symbol. Hunted. Cleared. Her assistant gasped. "They destroyed all these worlds?" "Yes," Mira said quietly. "And Earth is next." She kept scrolling. She found videos. Short clips recorded by the hunters. One showed a peaceful alien race crying as hunter ships surrounded their planet. Another showed warriors charging bravely, but their weapons were useless. Another showed cities burning, oceans boiling, people running. And the hunters never spoke, never offered peace, never showed mercy. Myra's jaw tightened. "They see us as animals. Nothing more." She closed the file. "And they think this will be our fate." Rin watched the human footage gathered by his drones. Humans laughing. Humans arguing. Humans running on fields. Humans fighting each other. Humans training. Humans surviving storms, disasters, wars. No single pattern. No single behavior. Chaotic. Unpredictable. Rin whispered, "This species is dangerous, because they do not think the same way twice." The officer beside him asked softly, "What do we do now?" Rin stared at the human battle recording from the graveyard again, the moment Earth's trap killed a hunter ship. Then he gave an order no hunter leader had ever given. "Remove Earth from the prey list." The officer froze. "What? Commander, We have never removed a world. Rin replied slowly. Earth is not prey. Earth is a threat. In the defense center, Mira studied the drone recordings again. This time, she focused on how the hunters behaved. Their movements were smooth, calculated, precise. They never acted without a plan. They never rushed. They fear chaos, Mira said. Her assistant frowned. Chaos. Mira nodded. Yes, humans are chaotic. We change. We improvise. We attack without warning. That is why they cannot predict us. She leaned against the table. They have hunted dozens of species, but none like us. Does this mean we can win? Her assistant asked. Mira gave a small, confident smile. It means something better. She stared at the sky. It means they are afraid. Rin stood before his communication panel. His ship shook from internal damage, but his mind was clear. He sent a message. Not to threaten. Not to demand surrender. But to warn his own empire. Do not underestimate humans. They are not weak. They are not simple. They are hunters. He closed the message and looked out into the darkness. We awaken something, he whispered. Something violent. Something ancient. On Earth, Mira received a new signal. Not from humans. Not from the drone. But from the surviving hunter ship. A single line of translated text. We misjudged your kind. Mira smiled faintly. Good. She turned to her team. Because the real fight starts now. The galaxy had gone silent. Every hunter ship that survived the last ambush drifted far away from Earth, trying to understand what had just happened. For the first time in their long history, they had not only faced resistance, they had faced fear. But on Earth, no time was wasted. Humans did not celebrate, did not rest. They prepared. Across every nation, screens lit up with the same message. Defense Protocol. Eclipse. Activated. Dr. Mira Hale stood inside the Lunar Command Hall, a giant chamber built under the moon's surface. Blue lights flickered on curved walls, showing Earth turning slowly in the distance. Soldiers, engineers, and pilots moved around her like a single living machine. Mira watched Earth from the moon window and whispered, Now they will learn what humans really are. Other species in the galaxy always expected humans to panic, to hide, to surrender. But humans did something completely different. They united. For the first time in history, every border opened, every military shared intel, every scientist joined hands. Even nations that once argued suddenly spoke with one voice. Protect humanity. All over Earth. Old factories reopened. Secret labs came alive. Satellites reconnected. Laser grids activated. Training camps filled with volunteers. Millions stepped forward. Not forced. Not pushed. Willing. They were ready to fight for their world. Commander Rin watched the human reaction from his damaged flagship. His crew whispered nervously. They had seen something they never expected from a young species. Why do they not hide? One hunter officer asked. Rin answered softly, because they do not understand fear like we do. They turn it into strength. He played footage again. Humans fighting in the asteroid field. Small fighters moving with impossible instinct. Soldiers using scrap metal as weapons. Engineers modifying machines in minutes. They are not following rules, Rin said. They make new rules. His crew stared in silence. This was not a species they were prepared to hunt. Back on the moon, Mira approached a massive chamber sealed with a silver door. Inside it was the reason the hunters marked Earth centuries ago. Project Eclipse. A weapon humanity discovered by accident. A giant energy core buried deep inside the moon by an unknown ancient race. Humans didn't build it, but they learned how to control it. Now it was time to use it. Engineers turned to Mira. All systems stable. Eclipse array is ready. Mira nodded. Once the hunters come, we aim for their flagship. No mercy. Hunter scouts approached Earth again, testing defenses. But what they saw shocked them. Human ships, fast, small, and unpredictable, launched like angry hornets. They didn't fly in perfect formation. They didn't follow standard attack patterns. They moved like instinct, like chaos. A hunter officer shouted, "Why are they scattering? They will be easy targets." But Rin knew better. They are not fleeing. They are surrounding us. He was right. Human fighters burst out from all sides. Some fired EMP bursts. Some dropped traps. Some rammed cloaked drones. Some simply confused the enemy by flying too close. Hunter ships started dropping in seconds. On the battlefield, human soldiers showed something alien species had never seen. Adaptation in real time. One team lost their weapons. They didn't panic. They used space debris as shields and pushed forward. Another group hacked a hunter drone using nothing but old Earth tech and a power cable. Rin watched the footage and felt something cold crawl up his spine. "These humans," he whispered, "they do not fight like a prey species. They fight like a species that survived its own world." He finally understood. Humans had hunted and survived predators for thousands of years before they ever left their planet. They were shaped by struggle, trained by hardship, born from chaos. They were not prey. They were natural hunters. Inside the moon, the giant metal petals of Eclipse slowly unfolded, revealing a blinding sphere of white-blue light. It began to hum, vibrating deep under the surface. Mira stood before the control panel. "Power at 92%, an engineer warned. "If we push more, the moon itself may crack." "We won't need more than that," Mira said. The giant beam charged, ready to fire. The hunters regrouped for one last attempt to overwhelm Earth. Their biggest ship moved forward, massive like a floating mountain. Rin gave the order. "All ships, prepare full assault." But before they could reach Earth, before they could pierce the defense grid, the moon lit up like a newborn sun. A beam of raw energy exploded outward, cutting through space like a sword. It sliced through the hunter warship, then through another, and another. Silence followed. The hunter fleet drifted, broken. Rin stood frozen, unable to speak. Behind him, officers trembled. One whispered, terrified, "They warned us too late. Humans are something else." The battlefield had gone quiet. The broken remains of the hunter fleet floated across space like black snow. The moon still glowed faintly with the fading energy of Project Eclipse. Earth, blue and bright, stood untouched behind its shield. But no one on Earth celebrated. Everyone waited, because they knew the hunters were not finished yet. Inside the damaged hunter flagship, Commander Rin stood alone in the central hall. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Smoke curled around shattered panels. His crew watched him in silence, waiting for his command. Rin had hunted many worlds. He had broken civilizations. He had ended species. But he had never seen a species rise like this. He looked at the broken screens showing human fighters returning to Earth. "They should not have survived," he whispered. "They should not have adapted. They should not have fought like us." Rin finally understood the truth. Humans were the predators they feared becoming. His second-in-command approached carefully. "Commander, what message shall we send?" Rin closed his eyes. For the first time in his life, he felt shame. "Open all channels," he ordered. A single tone echoed across space. Every human base received the transmission. Inside Lunar Command, Dr. Mira Hale stepped forward, arms crossed, calm but ready. The hunter message began. A cracked hologram of Commander Rin appeared. His voice was deep, rough, tired. "People of Earth, we concede. You are not prey. You are not weak. You are hunters. We see this now." His crew lowered their heads, something hunters never did. Rin continued, "We warn you, the galaxy will fear you after this day. Some will stay away. Some will try to challenge you. But we will not." Then he said the words no hunter in history had ever spoken. "We surrender." The message ended. Silence filled the moon base. Mira stared at the blank screen for a long moment. Soldiers watched her, waiting for the human response. Mira finally pressed the comm panel. Her voice was steady. "Commander Rin, surrender received. But understand this, Earth never wanted a war. You marked us. You hunted us. You pushed us." Her tone hardened. "If you ever return with force, you will not leave. Rin listened quietly. He expected anger. He expected revenge. But what he heard from Mira was something else. Control, confidence, power. Mira finished. Leave our space. Tell your leaders. Humans fight only when threatened. Remember that. Rin nodded once, deeply. The screen faded out. Hours passed. Earth repaired. Humans rested. The moon cooled. Mira returned to the observatory window, looking at her home world. She breathed slowly, thinking of everything. Fear, strategy, sacrifice, unity. An officer approached. "Ma'am, the hunters are retreating." Mira nodded. "It's over." But she knew the truth. It was not really over. It was only beginning. Because Earth had shown its strength. And the galaxy had watched. Far beyond Earth's skies. Merchant ships rerouted. Pirate fleets turned away. Alien kingdoms whispered. War empires paused their plans. Every species repeated the same new rule of the galaxy. Do not attack Earth. Some feared humans. Some respected them. Some wanted alliances. But none saw them as prey again. Back on Earth, Mira gave one final order. Send a signal. Her team hesitated. "Ma'am, a warning?" "Yes, a warning." A powerful signal burst from Earth, traveling beyond the moon, beyond Mars, beyond the star system, deep into the dark. It carried only 4 words. "We are not prey." The message flew through space like a promise. And like a threat. The story closes on Earth, shining against the black universe. A small planet. A young species. A world once thought weak. But now the galaxy knows the truth. Humans are hunters. And when pushed, they always push back.